Have you ever noticed how we carry this weight? We walk through life convinced it's a journey with some important destination. We think we must arrive somewhere meaningful, with virtue and accomplishment, to have left our mark. But consider this: what if living is more like music or a dance? A symphony's beauty isn't in its final note. The dance isn't about reaching a certain spot on the floor. The meaning is in the playing itself, in the moving itself. So let's explore something together. What happens when we stop taking this swirling, star-like existence so heavily? We carry this constant unease, this subtle worry that we're not doing it right. We're always preparing to live. We think, I must finish school to get a good job. I must get the job to have security. I must have security to raise a family. It's a cycle where purpose is always somewhere else, never right here, never now. We're like someone reading a book just to reach the last page. We flip through quickly, missing the poetry, the drama, the beautiful descriptions, just to see how it ends. Then we close it and wonder, is that all? The point was in the reading, in living through it. We miss the show because we're too busy looking for the meaning behind it. We're like a person at a concert who doesn't listen to the music, but reads the score, checking for mistakes. The music plays all around, and they miss the entire point. This is what happens when life becomes a problem to solve rather than a reality to experience. We build up this huge structure of seriousness. We need the right credentials, the right job title, the right car, the right address. We need to be seen with the right people. It's a grand performance. And we're terrified the audience will see through the cracks, that they'll see we're just making it up as we go. And of course we are. Everyone is. The secret no one admits is that nobody really knows what's going on. We're all playing roles. The doctor, the lawyer, the parent. Their roles. Their games. Games are fun as long as you don't confuse the game with your fundamental reality. The trouble starts when you forget you're playing, when you think you are the role, that you are the mask. Then the game becomes a prison. It becomes serious, and you have to defend it. You have to prove you're a good, serious, purposeful person. But what's the alternative to all this seriousness? It might seem frightening. If I'm not serious, if I don't have a purpose, then what am I? I become nothing, a failure in the world's eyes. But here we misunderstand deeply. We think the opposite of seriousness is frivolity, shallowness, irresponsible laughter. But that's not it. The true opposite is to see life as play, to see the universe itself as fundamentally playful. Look at nature. Does it look serious to you? Watch a kitten chase its tail. See waves lap the shore. Notice migrating birds in the sky. Do they seem on a grim mission? Do clouds look filled with existential dread? No, they're simply playing. They're expressing themselves. The universe is at heart a musical phenomenon. It's a dance of energy. And a dance has no destination. It is its own reason for being. We have this idea that everything in nature has a purpose. The bird sings to attract a mate. The flower is bright to attract a bee. The butterfly has eye spots to scare predators. It's all an engineering project. But this is just us projecting our purpose-driven worry onto the world. Why does the bird really sing? Why does the wave break on the shore? Why does the star shine? Isn't it perhaps for the same reason a child sings or skips? For the sheer joy of expression. For the fun of it. We say the bird sings to survive. But I must ask, why survive? What is that for? To sing more songs? To have more babies who will sing more songs? You see, it becomes circular. It's like saying the purpose of music is to reach the end of the composition. It misses the point entirely. Ancient wisdom offers a wonderful concept wu wei, often called non-action or effortless action. It doesn't mean doing nothing. It means acting without straining, without forcing. It's the way of water, which wears away the hardest rock by yielding. It does not strive, it simply flows. And in that flowing, it accomplishes everything. Another word for this attitude is purposelessness. To our ears, that might sound like an insult. Purposeless. That's useless. A waste of time. But in deeper understanding, it's the highest compliment. They look at nature and see it as purposeless. The mountains just are. The rivers just flow. They aren't going anywhere. They aren't achieving anything. They're simply expressing their own nature. And in that, they are profoundly beautiful and trustworthy. We think trust means believing nature will always give us what we want, that it will be safe and comfortable. But that's not trust. That is a demand. Real trust is like the trust you have when you throw a ball. You let go of it. You have faith in the process. You don't hold on and run to carefully place it in their hand. You throw it. You let it fly. Life requires that same trust. It asks you to let go, to stop trying to hold everything so tightly, to stop controlling every outcome. If you don't have this trust, if you don't trust nature, meaning both the world outside and your own inner nature, what's the alternative? The alternative is what we've created. It's a world of total mistrust. We feel nature must be watched. It must be controlled. We can't trust our instincts, our desires, our emotions. They're too dangerous, too messy. So what do? We create authorities to manage it all. We make rules, laws, systems, bureaucracies. We build a world where the most important thing isn't the living of life, but the recording of it. It's more important that your files are in order than that you're a kind person. It's more important that university records are perfect than that its library has inspiring books. We're so busy measuring life that we forget to live it. We become our own jailers. We're so afraid of making a mistake, of looking foolish, of not being serious enough that we fence ourselves in. We create a life that is, as they say, all jail and no prisoner, a structure with nothing alive inside. But life is inherently messy. It's inherently playful. It's inherently spontaneous. You can't schedule a moment of awe. You can't program a belly laugh. You can't force a genuine insight. These things happen when you let go. They happen when you stop taking yourself so seriously. A true scholar, in the original sense, isn't someone who studies to get a degree. The word scholar means leisure. A scholar was a person of leisure who studied things not because they were useful but because they were fascinating, delightful. They studied the charming irrelevances of life, the things that don't contribute directly to survival, but make survival worthwhile: poetry, art, music, philosophy, the patterns of stars, the shapes of shells. This is play. And if you don't have room in your life for the playful, life isn't worth living. But here's a very important point. If the only reason you play is because it's good for you, because it helps you work better afterward, then you're not really playing at all. You're just working in a different form. You must learn to do things that have no purpose. Pick up a pebble. Look at it. Don't try to get a sermon from it. Don't try to make it mean something. Just enjoy its texture, its color, its shape. Just enjoy it. Do not feel you have to justify the moment by saying it advances your aesthetic understanding. Just enjoy the pebble. When you can do that, you become strangely a healthy human being. You become able to be a loving, helpful person. But if you can only do things because you're going to get something out of it, you are what I would call a vulture. You're circling over life, waiting to profit from it instead of landing and joining the dance. So the first step is to see the incredible weight of seriousness we carry, to see the structure of purpose we've built around ourselves like a shell, and to begin to wonder, what if we could set it down just for a moment? What if we could, as ancient wisdom suggests, learn purposelessness? What would that feel like? It would feel like the moment you stop striving and simply listen to the rain. It would feel like watching wild geese fly and be hidden in the clouds. It would feel like watching a ship vanish behind a distant island. It would feel like wandering on and on in a great forest with no thought of return. Haven't you ever done that? Haven't you ever just gone for a walk with no particular place to go? You twiddle your thumbs. You hit a stick against a stump. In that moment, you're a perfectly rational human being. You've learned the great art of purposelessness. And in that space, life stops being a problem. It becomes a song, and you begin to hear the music that's been playing all along. But this is only the beginning. We've seen the weight. Now we must look at the dancer. We must look at this, you, that's trying so hard to be serious, What is it? Where did it come from? And is it perhaps also part of the game? So we find ourselves carrying this immense weight. We're playing a role and we've forgotten it's a role. We've become convinced the mask is our true face, that the part we play, the banker, the mother, the student, the failure, the success, is who we are fundamentally. But this you that you take so seriously, this ego, this personality, what is it? Where did it come from? If you look for it, it's rather elusive. It's a collection of memories, a bundle of desires and fears, a certain pattern of behavior. It's a story you tell yourself and others about who you are. I am a person who likes this and dislikes that. I am someone who did this and failed to do that. It is a concept, a thought. And like all thoughts, it is fleeting. It has no solidity. You cannot locate it in the body. Is it in the head, the heart? The brain is an instrument, a fantastic computer, but it is not the operator. The eye cannot see itself. The tooth cannot bite itself. The thinker cannot think itself. This you is a vibration, a pattern, a whirlpool in the stream of life. A whirlpool is a recognizable pattern. You can say, there is the whirlpool. But if you try to grab it, to take it out of the river, you get nothing but a handful of water. The whirlpool is something the river is doing. It is an activity, not a thing. In the same way, what you call me is something the universe is doing right here and right now. It is a temporary dancing pattern, a gesture. And like a gesture in the air, it is fundamentally empty. It leaves no trace. Now this can sound frightening. The idea that I am not a solid, enduring thing can feel like annihilation. But is it? Or is it the discovery of your true, vast nature? You are not the whirlpool. You are the whole river. You are not the wave. You are the ocean. We are all actors in this fantastic divine play. And the problem is not that we are acting. The problem is that we are bad actors. We are method actors. We've gotten so absorbed in the part that we've forgotten the curtain will fall. We've forgotten the audience. We've even forgotten that there are other actors on the stage, and we think our role is the only important one. A good actor knows he is acting. He can play the part of a king with tremendous conviction. But when he walks off the stage, he takes off the crown and has a beer. He doesn't go home and order his family about because he was a king on stage. He knows it was a game. The whole of life has a similar nature. It is a drama. It is a play of energy. And when you know that, you can play your part with immense verve, with passion, with compassion, with everything you have. But you won't be deceived. You won't take the tragedies backstage. You won't cling to the triumphs as if they were your permanent identity. You see, when you don't take your ego so seriously, a wonderful thing happens. You begin to relax. The constant low, great anxiety of having to protect this fragile, fictional self begins to dissolve. You can afford to be more spontaneous. You can afford to be foolish. You can afford to make mistakes because it's all part of the play. A wave in the ocean is not anxious about crashing on the shore. It's what waves do. It's part of the rhythm. It will gather itself again. In the same way, your successes and failures are just part of the rhythm of your expression. They are not the final judgment on you because there is no you to be judged in that solid, fixed way. There is only the dancing, the flowing. This is why ancient sages praised purposelessness. They saw that nature is not going anywhere. It is just expressing itself. A tree does not purpose to grow. It grows because it is a tree. A bird does not purpose to sing. It sings because it is a bird. We are the same. Our purpose is not some distant goal. Our purpose is to express what we are right now. And what are we? We are the universe. We are nature. We are that same energy that blows out the stars, that shapes the galaxies, that curls the waves. You are not a stranger in a foreign universe. You are this universe and it is you. So how do you live this? How do you stop taking the mask so seriously? You don't do anything. That's the great joke. You cannot try to be spontaneous. You cannot make an effort to be effortless. That is like trying to bite your own teeth. Or like a person hearing a funny joke and then stopping to think, I must laugh now to show I understand. The real laugh comes from nowhere. It happens to you. When this realization dawns, life ceases to be a problem. It becomes a game. A very serious game sometimes, a tragic game sometimes, but a game nonetheless. And you can play a serious game without taking it seriously. A good chess player is utterly absorbed in the game. He cares deeply, but he does not think the fate of the universe rests on whether he wins or loses. He knows it's chess. So you can go about your life. You can do your job, raise your family, pay your bills, but you do it with a lightness. You do it as an expression, not as a means of validation. You work not because you have to prove you are a worthy person, but because the work is there to be done, like a mountain is there to be climbed. This is what is called working for the work's sake, singing for the song's sake. It is action without attachment. You pour yourself completely into the moment, and then you let it go. You don't cling to the result. A cat does not pursue a mouse because it has a philosophy of predation. It does it because it is a cat. It is totally absorbed in the pursuit. It is a perfect expression of cat-ness. And when the moment is over, it is over. The cat stretches and goes to sleep. It doesn't lie awake wondering if it was a good cat or if it could have caught the mouse more efficiently. It is simply itself. We can learn from that. We can learn to be simply ourselves. Not the idea of ourselves, but the living, breathing, immediate reality of ourselves. When you are no longer defending a fragile self-image, you become incredibly strong. Criticism doesn't shatter you. Failure doesn't define you. Success doesn't inflate you. You can flow with circumstances. You can adapt. You can be like water, which is soft and yielding, yet which can eventually wear away the hardest rock. This is not passivity. This is supreme intelligence. It is action that is in accord with the total situation, not just with your narrow, selfish desire. It is the action of the whole universe expressing itself through you. So you see, the answer to the burden of seriousness is not to become frivolous. It is to become playful, to see the cosmos as it is a joyous, spontaneous, and yes, sometimes painful dance, and to see yourself not as a lonely dancer, but as the dance itself. That the dance has a rhythm, it has a certain pattern, and to understand that pattern is to understand the deepest joke of all. Now, having seen the weight of our self-constructed seriousness, and having glimpsed the illusion of the separate, solitary ego, we are left with a question. Not a question to be answered, but an invitation to participate. What is left when you are not busy building a monument to yourself? What remains when the constant narration in your head, the commentary, the judgment, the planning, begins to quiet down? What remains is the experience itself, the raw, unfiltered is-ness of things, the feeling of the wind on your skin, the sound of a distant bird, the coolness of water. This is not a trivial reality. This is the fundamental reality. The world is not something you have to figure out. It is something to be tasted, touched, heard, and seen. You are not a passenger in the universe being taken for a ride. You are the universe experiencing itself. The eyes you look out of are not your personal possession. They are the eyes of life itself looking out at its own creation. The energy that animates your body is the same energy that spins the galaxies. This is not a mystical fantasy. This is the most practical thing in the world. When you know this, not just as an idea but as a feeling in your bones, your relationship with everything changes. You begin to see that life is not a journey with a destination. It is a musical thing. You are here to sing, to dance, to play. But we have been taught that playing is frivolous, that it is only for children. But I ask you, what is the alternative? All work and no play does not just make Jack a dull boy. It makes him a nervous wreck. It makes him a tyrant. It makes him a machine. The alternative is to join the dance, to understand that your very existence is your justification. You do not need permission to be. You do not need to earn the right to be here. You are here because you are here, just as a rose is red because it is a rose. So how does one live this way? You don't try. Trying is the energy of the separate ego, the energy of seriousness. You simply begin to notice. You notice the moments when you are already not trying, the moment you are captivated by a piece of music, and forget yourself. The moment you are so absorbed in a conversation that